So, hello everyone. Today's a rather sad day for me and for those from my country. I don't know if most of you know that I'm a Nigerian. And I'm sure also some of you who are current with international news, you've also heard of what has happened in my country, what has been happening in my country. And of course, a lot of people want to call it a Muslim-Christian fight, but I'm not going to call it that. And I will tell you why in a moment. But first of all, I just want to say that these were ordinary people, like you and I, people who were just doing their ordinary everyday thing, who were praying. They went into a church that morning and they're praying along with their children, along with other members of their family. They did no harm. They harmed no one. And yet, people just went in there and slaughtered them. And it's hard for me to comprehend what has happened. Because when things like this happen, of course, a lot of people are going to say all kinds of things in the news. And then you go online, you see all kinds of comments. And of course, I went online as well, not out of morbid curiosity, because the whole thing is in your face. You cannot escape seeing what has happened. Like they say, there are just certain things that when you see them, you cannot unsee them. No matter how much you want to unsee them, you just cannot unsee them. And again, the reason that I go on to see comments, look at the video again and again, is not out of morbid curiosity, but a kind of way of honoring those people that have just been removed from earth. And that's another thing. I want to say Killed, but I know that the social media are so sanitized things that I'll be flagged. My video might be flagged if I say repeat Killed. And that's one of the things that really makes me really furious right now. Because how are you going to sanitize people who have been forcefully eliminated from this earth? How do you sanitize it? How do you get to a point where you make things so diplomatically correct that you refuse to give those things the terms for which they should be given, because you want to protect this sensitivity of some people? What about the sensitivity of the people themselves who have been eliminated? Okay, granted, they are gone, they can't feel a thing. What about those of their families? When things like this happen, we look at the people that have been offed, people that have been slaughtered. And that's what most of us do. We look at them. We think about them. It's good to think about them. But I want to say that at least to them, they are gone. Evil of this world, they have gone, they are at peace. They've left us with the evil of this world. They are at peace now. What about the people that they left behind? Their parents who have lost their children, husbands who have lost their wives, wives who have lost their husbands, mothers who have lost their sons, fathers who have lost their daughters, and the list goes on. When things like this happen, sometimes we focus on the people that have gone, that have been Killed, that have been slaughtered. But it has a more far-reaching impact than that. And this impact will be felt for generations, for years to come. Because when you lose someone, you just don't wake up one day and decide, okay, the pain is gone. It stays with you forever. There are children who would never know the hugs of their parents again. There are mothers who would never get to hug their children. There are dreams that have been dreamt for loved ones that the loved one would never see, they would never be fulfilled. They would never see those dreams fulfilled. All because some people want what you want. And hear me now. That's the point I'm going to make here. People are going to say, oh, it's Muslims against Christians. Of course, we've been made to believe this is how it is because, of course, the people who go in there, they go in there, chanting this Allah Akbar, and we've been made to say, oh, the Muslims against Christians. I refuse to look at it like that. Have we not always lived side by side? We have lived with Muslims side by side. Christians have lived with Muslims side by side for years and years in our country. We're a country of religions. The two main ones being Christianity and Islam. And so we've always lived side by side. We marry. Christians are married to Muslims. Some Muslims are married to Christians. I have one of my best friends used to be a Muslim. We have that all over our country. We've had that for years. We've always lived side by side. We intermarry. Why did we not slaughter one another then? We married one another. Why did we not slaughter one another then? Why is it that all of a sudden we woke up and realized, this one is a Christian. I don't want them to exist. Or these ones are Christians. We don't want them to exist. Why did we not focus on the religious part of our existence before now? Why now? And this is a question that we need to ask ourselves. We need to be truthful with ourselves. Why now? Why Christianity versus Muslim? We've always said, or Islam or Muslims, or Christianity versus Islam rather. Why Christians versus Muslims? We've always lived side by side. I look at what happened a couple of days ago. I saw that it was so in your face, you could not avoid it. People just worshiping, doing their normal routine. And I have to say, my faith is pretty shaken right now. I've never, made any bones about the fact that I'm a woman of faith, a strong woman of faith, that I'm not just religious. Rather, I'm actually not religious. I just have a relationship with God. I believe in the goodness of God. I believe in the faithfulness of God. I believe in the kindness of God. But I have to say right now, my faith is shaken. The other day, or just yesterday rather, I went online. I saw a comment by someone and said, oh yes, they believe in their Jesus. Why did their Jesus not save them? They were busy chanting Jesus. And my first instinct was to defend the name of Jesus, was to defend, to call the person to account for what he said. But I stopped. And I started saying, but God, where were you when this was happening? I know that there's a point in the Bible that says that in all things we should give thanks and know that there's an ultimate purpose. But then I just cannot think of what that purpose could be right now. What is the ultimate good? What could possibly be the ultimate good for a group of people who went into a church to worship God, only to be unceremoniously slaughtered by animals posing as human beings? So what What's the ultimate purpose of that? I'm struggling to see that, but I just cannot see it. And I went to bed yesterday, ever since this happened, a couple of days ago. I go to bed with this thought in my head, and I wake up with this thought in my head. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video that's circulating of what happened in that church in Kwara State in Nigeria. It was live streamed. And of course, when these animals first went in there, you could see that they saw that it was live streamed and they did not want their faces to show. You could see them trying to avoid the camera. But then they went in and you could hear the screams. You could hear the guns. Every time someone screamed, there was a gunshot and silence. And every time that happened, I said to myself, oh gosh, that's another life that's been snuffed. And at the end, one of those slaughtered must have put on a video. Maybe she was trying to go live for people to see what was happening. So they would now come and say fake news. Like some of our people, so-called leaders are wanting to say, yeah, that was just fake news. I'm sure someone wanted to record that in his or her last day on earth. And so it caught one of these animals. I cannot call them humans. It caught this animal, he picked it up, saw that, and it was trying to avoid. And in that video, the most heartbreaking thing, you could see a body on the floor. And you could also see blood. Innocent blood dripping from the walls on the floor. That broke my heart. That broke my heart. Not because I knew any one of those people, but it broke my heart because I realized someone's mother will see this later. Someone's father will see this later. Someone's son will see this later. Someone's cousin, someone's friend, someone's fiancé, the list goes on, will see this later. Someone's auntie and uncle will see this later. And they will say, was that the blood of my fiancé? Was that the word of my son? Was that the word of my daughter? Was that the word of my wife? Was that the blood of my husband? Those people who have lost ones will see this later. Like I said, when things like this happen, we mourn the death, but they are free. They are the lucky ones because they no longer have to deal with the mess of this world. They no longer have to see someone walking into an innocent gathering and just deciding to just off the people like they were ants. Sometimes I look at this and say, even ants. Some of us who are conscious of the importance of all living things, when we see an ant on the floor, we pick it up and gently put them aside. Or some kind of other insects or animal, we take them off because we don't want. We are conscious that they deserve life. Everyone deserves the life that they have. So we take them. And these animals, they have no respect for life. And yet they will come here and claim to know God. What God are you worshiping? Who is the God that you're worshiping? Is it the same God that says at the beginning of the Quran says, Allah the merciful, the compassionate. Do you know what the merciful means? When those people were screaming and you calmed them down. When someone there was probably begging you, most likely 100% begging you. When a mother was begging you, when a child was begging you, and you ignored their place and you calmed them down. Were you compassionate? I'm making this little point here because you know that the people who went in there and slaughtered these people, they are not the ones they're just, I don't know, they are just puppets. They are not the ones responsible for what is going on. So I'm making this to the kingpins, the sponsors of these terrible, terrible things. A lot of you, the sponsors, you go out there, you kneel down, you pray, you lift your hands up, and you quote that, Allah the merciful, Allah the compassionate. Do you actually know what those words mean? To be compassionate, to be merciful. What do you know about mercy? What do you know about compassion? You have children. All of you, most of these people have children, they have families. Do you think about that? If those were your sons, if those were your daughters, if that was your spouse, your husband, your wife, your uncle, your aunt, do you think about this when you're doing the things that you do? I do know that this is a fight over resources. It's nothing to do with religion. Like I said, we are a country of multi-religions. We've lived side by side for years. We've always lived side by side. We intermarry. The Christians are marrying the Muslims. The Muslims are marrying the Christians. We have friends. We have colleagues. We work side by side. Why did we never wake up one day and decide to slaughter one another? Why is that happening right now? It's nothing to do with religion. It's a fight for resources. And the kingpins behind this fight, they're the sponsors of these terrible things, are not even Nigerians. They may not even be Nigerians. That's the terrible things. They're using Nigerians who have no sense. They come in there, they pay you money, they promise you all kinds of things. What are they promising you? Power? Is it the power that you leave behind eventually? Who lives forever? We are all going to die eventually. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care if you have a plane, a private plane that flies, like zooms across the earth. I don't even care if you're able to go to the moon and back in one day. You are going to die eventually. And you will take nothing with you when you die. You will not take your wealth with you. You will not take your girlfriends with you. You will not take your celebratory status with you. You will not take your so-called power with you. As you came into this world naked, naked will you leave it. So what is your point? What's the point of slaughtering the innocents? What's the power? What's the point of your miserable power? How sustaining is your miserable power? How long can you live? I don't care how many facelifts you have. I don't care how many times you go under the knife to make yourself look young, to take away wrinkles. I don't care how many pills you're given to swallow. I don't care how many elixirs, how many portions you drink every hour of the day. Eventually, you will die. And if you manage to live, say your forever can only be 120 years. And even then, how many of those years can you truly live it with joy? Being able to do things for yourself. Enjoy the things that you are now desperately slaughtering others to enjoy. There are certain people today who had power, what they call power. They can't even wear shoes. Ordinary slippers on their feet, they cannot wear it. How old are they today? So how many of this, the years, 120, if at all, or 100, how many of those can you live being yourself, completely yourself? Completely cognizant of what you're doing? Strong, run, dance, make love. How many of those years can you comfortably do those things? At most until you're 80. And then from that point, it's slowly down the hill. 85, at that point, it's down the hill. By the time you get to 90, how many of those things can you comfortably enjoy? And yet, you're willing to slaughter people for them. You're willing to slaughter people because of them. My mind is so sad. When this first happened, I went into shock. You know how it is when something happened. First you go into shock, you're in denial. Yesterday, I was posting things that I usually post. It was like, God, I don't want to think about this. I cannot bear to think about this. But like I said, it wouldn't leave me. There are things that you experience, you cannot unexperience them. There are things that you see, you cannot unsee them. There's pain that you feel. They can't leave you. And so I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing that goes through my mind. I go to bed at night, it's the first thing. It's like a mirror, and I'm looking at it, and it refuses, my reflection refuses to go away. All I can think, the last days on earth, of all of those innocent people, what they felt. It's a different thing when you're ill, and your loved ones know that you're ill, and there's a possibility that you may not survive the illness. But to wake up, get dressed in the morning and say you're going to the house of worship, only to have some animals come in and just remove you like you're a speck, that you just take this cloth and just wipe. Be gone. Like that. For what? For gold? For whatever resources? For oil? For what? What? What are you scheming, planning, doing all the evils? What are you doing this for? What reason? To what purpose? So that you can live forever? You won't live forever. However much you want, you will not. And it may just be one tiny illness, one tiny disease that will make nonsense of your so-called power. I don't want to mention names, but they are very, very powerful people who have gone or are no longer with us. That they have so much money that if it was a question of money, I'm sure if all their billions and trillions could not buy life for them, I'm sure all the trillions of their friends and network combined would have bought them life. But it did not. One tiny little illness made nonsense of all their wealth, of their entire so-called power. One tiny illness made nonsense. So what are you fighting? What are you KILED people? KILLING people for? Why are you exterminating people for? To what purpose? So you can live. See, the fact remains that we are all on this earth. Whatever you do comes home to you eventually. The ultimate law of harvest. What you sow, you reap. You think you've built yourself castles, surrounded yourself with securities, high fence walls, electrified walls, nothing can get to you. Hey, but we live in this world. We all live in this world. If they don't get to you, they will get to your children. Can you prevent diseases from coming to your children? Some of you, you have children who are suffering all kinds of things. Those same kids, they are going around swallowing all kinds of things. You're running helter-skelter, one hospital to another, one, what do they call them, counseling program, whatever, to another, trying to get them out of the mess they are. Have you asked yourself why? It's the ultimate law of harvest. What you sow is what you reap. You cannot sow potatoes and reap pineapple. You sow potatoes, you reap potatoes. You think you're so clever, doing all of this, hiding behind, scheming. For what? For power. It will come to your children. It will come to your children. They will reap and you will live to see the result of your wickedness. See, the thing is that in this world, sometimes we think to ourselves, oh yes, I've lived my life, I've gone. But you know why? There's a thing in the Bible that says, why do evil men live so long and good people tend to just die young? And there's an understanding that I've come, something that I've come to understood, that sometimes God allows them to live long enough to see the result of their wickedness, not on them themselves, but on the ones that they love. Because nothing hurts more than seeing your loved ones suffer. And the loved ones of all of these people sponsoring this, they will suffer. They will suffer. Every of those blood that is spilled yesterday, a couple of days ago, all of these months, in the days past, in the months past, they will reap. Those blood will cry out to the very earth. And the earth will open its mouth and swallow them. And they will live to see their own children suffer. I am someone who is usually very compassionate. I don't like the sins of the fathers visited on the sons. But I refuse. I refuse to cry. I refuse to pray the prayer of mercy for these animals. They have just killed other people's children, other people's wives, other people's husbands, family members, loved ones. Why should they get to enjoy their own loved ones? And so I'm not praying for mercy anymore for them. I want the earth to open up, and I'm praying that the very earth will open up and swallow them and the people, the children, their children. At the end of this, at the beginning of this, I was saying that my faith was challenged. My faith has been challenged. But you know, ultimately, we come back to faith. Ultimately, I come back to faith. And with that faith, I'm saying, let the floor, let the grounds open up and swallow them alive, these people. The people responsible for the ills in my country, Nigeria. For all the slaughter, for all the pains. Let the ground open up and swallow them. We are tired of crying for mercy. For all the people who have joined me, it's probably not what you're expecting to hear when you came on. But you know, life is a circle. I live in Europe. I don't live in Nigeria, but I have family members in Nigeria. And even if I did not, these are human beings. Life is a circle. You think it does not concern you, but eventually it comes home to roost because it's a circle. It means it goes around like that. I mean, think of Ebola. When it was first happening in Africa, the Western world was behaving like, hey, none of our business. They are getting killed because of these things there. It's none of our business. This is not our thing. But it came home to roost eventually, right? Those people who were saying this, who were so lackadaisical, unconcerned, it's not a thing. It's not a fight. They forgot that they had loved ones who were traveling all over. And eventually it came home to roost. And it was when it came home to roost, everyone started, flipping about helter-skelter. My point is that please say a prayer. Do not say that it's not your fight. Do not say that it's not your continent. Do not say that it's not in your neighborhood. Please take time to say prayer for the people who have lost their loved ones in this madness. In the madness that happened a few days ago in my country, Nigeria, in Kwara State. Say a few prayers for them as a human being, from one human being to another. Say a few prayers for them. Like I said, the ones who are oft, they are gone. They are at peace. But say prayers for the ones that have left behind, that have been left behind to carry the pain of what happened. I wanted to leave this. Sorry, I just turned on my computer because I wrote a prayer. Like I said, eventually it comes back to faith because that's what I know. So I wanted to leave this broadcast or live stream, whatever you call it, I want to leave it with a prayer that I wrote for the people, for the family of the people. Sorry, it's taking a bit long for my laptop to boot. I wrote a prayer for them. I wrote a prayer for them. Just... You know, I did say that when things like this happen, you're first in denial. You know how pain, the circle of pain, at first you're in denial. Then you're angry. And this is the angry point right now. I've been in denial about this, but I can no longer deny what has happened. I can no longer deny. And so right now, I am angry. I am angry. Wondering how many people have to be so slaughtered for this to stop. Wondering when enough is enough for the grabbers of power. Wondering when enough is enough. I'm trying to turn this off, please. Let me say these prayers. I want to end this because it's important. I really want to end this with the prayers that I wrote. Gosh, I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry that... gosh, I don't know. Sorry. My gosh. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the prayers that I wrote. Oh, God, what is this? I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just trying to find this prayer. I'm not... Something is happening with my... Something is happening with my laptop. I don't know why it's giving me... stressing me out right now. Oh, Lord. I don't know whether... Sorry, everybody. I don't even understand why I'm not getting... Let me go... sorry. Sorry, let me look for this now. If I don't get it, I think I need my glasses because I'm not able to get this done here. Okay, yes, I found it. Sorry, everyone. So this is the prayer that I said I wrote for this. And I need my glasses to say, "Oh God of justice, God who hears even the tears we never speak. Stretch your hand over Nigeria today. Comfort the families living moments they will never fully recover from. Heal the wounded in body and in spirit. Judge the wicked swiftly. Protect the innocent fiercely. And restore peace to a land that has forgotten what peace feels like. May your presence overshadow every place of worship again. May your angels stand guard where human systems fail. And may the cry of the broken become the beginning of a new dawn. Amen. I think that last part is very important. May the cry of the broken become the beginning of a new dawn. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking time to join me. It's probably too sad, something you didn't want to hear, but hey, that's life. You live the happy and you live the sad. Until next time, thank you for joining, taking time to join this live stream. Until next time.